Haters, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo están? Espero que se encuentren de maravilla. En esta ocasión tenemos la primera entrevista del 2025 y tenemos aquí a Matthew Sutton, quien es el fundador, la voz y el bajista de la banda TAYNE, una banda oriunda de London, England, en el Reino Unido, quienes tocan una suerte de metal industrial mezclado con noise, pop, shoegaze, entre otros elementos de varios géneros distintos. Ellos van a lanzar su primer álbum de estudio titulado Love el día 31 de enero a través de los sellos Inside Job y MNRK Music. Así es que vamos a darle la bienvenida a Matt. Matt, how are you? Thanks a lot for being here for Conversations from the Underworld. How are you, man?
I'm good, man. Thank you so much for having me on the show. I really appreciate it. It's
No,
good
it's
to
my
be here.
pleasure. Yeah, man, it's great to have you here to talk a little about the album, the first album that we have with this lineup. It's so exciting to hear this kind of work being released nowadays because it's a very honest work, a very I would like to say personal, but at the same time so universal. You know?
Yeah, I think that's definitely it. Like you're always I feel like it's always that thing of like navigating the fine line of like force feeding people too much information and just like
Yeah,
yeah, and having like leaving it a bit more like open and like more room to breathe and process and like other people to find their own kind of ins to it. Otherwise, when you're just like forcing, this is so matter of fact, it just feels like there's nothing there for the viewer or the audience to engage. You know, it's just like you're just being told.
yeah. Definitely not trying to lecture anybody. Just this is what
No,
I think. This is what I feel. If you can relate, cool. If you're not, totally fine.
absolutely, yeah, that's it. I
Yeah,
think, yeah.
yeah. Sorry, what you saying?
No, I was just saying, yeah, it's like it's that thing, like just come right trying to write something from a personal space that hopefully resonates with someone.
Yeah, man. I'm pretty sure it will because this kind of lyrics, this kind of feeling put in this record on this record are very unique and very easy to clinch to. So congratulations for that.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, man, don't even mention it. And please, without further ado, if you don't mind, we will start with our first questions. And actually, the first question is formulated, it composes it with three, because these questions are courtesy of Anthony, Andrew, and Garrett, the members of the band Miracle Blood. And the question that Anthony asked was, what's your favorite place to stop while on the road? Andrew then asked, if you can only use one condiment for the rest of your life, what are you gonna go with? And Garrett asked, what's the song that you used to love and you hate now?
Okay, first one, we used to like kind of when we were a DIY band, we played a lot of shows in Berlin in Germany, and that was always my fun spot. And I still we haven't played there in a long time. But every time we're there, that's always the favorite point of destination.
Okay,
Um, Second question, condiments. I'm just gonna keep it German and say mustard. You know,
okay.
fucking all the way, mustard all the way. Um, at whatever it can be whole grain, it can be Dijon, it can be English, it can all mustard is does
Any kind of.
all welcome, all accepted and embraced. Um,
Okay,
and the third question was there a song that I used to love that I don't like anymore? Is this
yeah.
with our band or just in general in life?
In general, one song that you used to love and that now you hate.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I probably loved Barbie Girl when it came out back in the day. Now, now not so much, but yeah, Barbie Girl. Let's go with that.
Good answer, man. Yeah, yeah. I'm pretty sure that's the case for many people. That when it went out, it's like, oh, this is so fun. It's
Yeah.
cool. And nowadays, oh, so a shame I was just jamming to that tune. Yeah, man. Thanks a lot for your answers, man. And if
Pleasure.
you don't mind, I will start with my own question for you.
Sure.
And
Keep them going, keep them spicy.
yeah, man, let's put some mustard on it.
Put some mustard, get some hot sauce.
Yeah, man.
Go for it.
Yeah, man. The first question I got for you, yeah, more related to the album is this one. Well, the name of your album is such a powerful word, but it can have so many different meanings for everyone. What did it mean to you when you started the creation of this album? And what does it mean now that it's about to be released? Has the meaning of that word changed for you?
I don't know if it's changed, but I do get what you're saying. Like it's such a one of those like big impact words, right? You've got love and hate are like two universal, very impactful words, and I guess love, it looks cool, it sounds cool, and it just rolls off. It's easy. Um, and I guess when the, I guess the concept, or when we started writing the material, I think like thematically, much like kind of what we touched on a minute ago, was like, I guess like I feel it always has to come from a place of honesty or like personal experience, for me at least. I don't really feel like I'm a commenter on the outer world. It's more in like looking in the mirror and poking holes at myself, kind of a thing. And so a lot of it was kind of conflict, or finding conflict in my life at that period with love. And in essence, the album is about conflict, or conflict in love. But conflict just didn't sound as cool as love. Yeah. So love was the kind of deciding one. But yeah, I think um a lot of that, like grieving love and like kind of feeling that that wasn't something that was attainable in my life, and just yeah, feeling very defeated or conflicted by it. And that, I think that's kind of where it stemmed from. Did that cover it?
Yeah, of course, man. Yeah, I can totally relate to what you're saying because a thing such as love can be the same one, one love can be destructive in one stage of a life and can be edifying in some other time, maybe before, maybe later. But the same love can be a lot of things for a person. So definitely, with the background that I read about this album, with your life story and the story of your dad, it's
Yeah.
definitely one of these occasions that maybe it kind of was a destructive force in a time, but then with more time, it can be very constructive, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a really good way of putting it. And I think, yeah, you're dead right. It's like, I think that the main conflict was like either, like with everyone, I'm sure they experience it, is like that vulnerability. And so much of being in love or being in a relationship is it's not one way street. It's always a back and forth, and it's always a
Yeah,
compromise. And it shapes, and it turns and changes constantly, and evolves and turns into something that maybe you didn't think it was. And I guess when you run into conflict is probably when you start that compromise. And so um I guess everyone kind of like travels through that, and I get like kind of with my dad kind of element on the album, and very much mine. Like my input was kind of on that stance, on this kind of middle road of being conflicted about it, and I think I just had this kind of very organic conversation with my dad at some point when we were recording the record. And we were just shooting the shit, and I kind of was telling him about this idea about the album, and and I think a lot of it just resonated with him. And he kind of, yeah, a lot of that struck a chord with him, and we kind of start talking about that. And it was like, for your viewers or whatever, my mom and dad, were together. They got married, had a life together, had four kids, and then, you know, my dad kind of eventually realized that he was gay, and, quote unquote, living a lie.
Yeah,
And so, uh, my whole existence came from a conflict in love. Um, and and the two of us just kind of, you could feel the air in the room. It was that light bulb moment for sure of just like, whoa, there's something to this that is no longer my thing. It's, this kind of universal thing, and everyone has a viewpoint on it. And I guess that just really resonated with us, and we kind of, I was like, hey, there's something to this. Maybe we can, if you're cool with it, we can kind of try encapsulate a bit of your story and my story in this record.
yeah, man, and I surely appreciate that kind of honesty on the record, and I'm pretty sure most of the people who listens to the album will feel the same because it's always refreshing to hear an honest piece of work that comes from a very maybe insecure place or a very sensitive place, but and we should be all thankful for that kind of input in a piece of work, in a piece of art.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man, don't worry about it. Yeah, man. The next question I got for you is this one. Well, there is always a tone behind this kind of deepness in a work of art. Do you think it is worth it to experience this kind of angst, this kind of feelings in order to be able to create?
Yeah, it's a good question. Like, I feel for a lot of people are like very like naturally gifted as like wordsmiths, like
Yeah,
just like someone like Jack White that just pulls words together, and they're gibberish, but they all correlate
makes
so
sense. Yeah,
well. Like that's not me. I'm not that guy. I'm not talented like that in that way. And so I guess like being a singer has never been something that I felt was very natural to me.
okay.
And so I guess it took a while to get to that point. And I guess when I got to the point of what do I want to say, I don't really feel like I have something that's relevant to say to the world unless it's coming from a very honest stance. And the only way I could do that was kind of, or at least the only way that I felt comfortable in doing that was like examining myself and kind of picking apart that. And
Yeah,
it is like very cathartic and self-serving and all of this stuff, but I feel like that is real and relevant to me. Like I think the when me and Tom, the guitarist, kind of first really started the band, it was, I think the mission statement was like, write something that's honest or do something that is honest. And so that's always kind of been like the go back to like mission statement with everything we do in terms of like write the music, the sounds of, that what feels honest to us of like what we
yeah,
want to do, and then also thematically and lyrically write something that feels honest and is true to what we want to do. And so yeah, it comes with like, I guess really like that soul searching and opening up and exposing these insecurities to yourself. But I do think I don't know any other process to do it, and I don't think I would do it any other way, just because it doesn't like, it comes from a point of authenticity. And to get up on stage and sing these songs or whatever, it like it I in a weird way, like projecting your insecurities onto other people almost is like a comfort blanket in a way, because I think a lot of the times honesty scares the shit out of people.
yeah, of
um
course.
people are so intimidated by honesty, and me too. And I say that coming from me. Um, and so my way of coping with it is projecting my insecurities onto other people, and like being like, it's
Very
that's you,
healthy,
that's
very
yours
healthy
now.
practice.
Yeah, yeah, but like, but at the end of the day, I'm like, well, I'm at least I'm being honest,
Of course.
or saying it, and so, um, yeah, I think it's a like it works for me, and I don't know any other way to do it.
No, man, and there is not such thing as a way to do it. If you ask me, because I'm also a singer and I write the lyrics. Um, I definitely know a lot of people who do this kind of thing, the writing and the singing. And with time, I just find out that there is no way, a specific way, by a by the book way to do
Yeah.
these kind of things. It's just everyone has his own process. Everyone has its own ways to create, to be able to express ideas and feelings and anything. And definitely, in this album, it doesn't sound like you struggle with it. It feels so natural, and man, that's the way I'm telling you. The way you're doing it, it's just the right way for you to do it, and the product, the result is very very good, man. So you
Uh,
keep on doing whatever you're doing, and you
I'll,
will
I'll
be
keep
fine.
I'll keep stabbing myself in the mirror, jabbing myself. But no, thank you. I really appreciate that. It means a lot. That's very nice to hear. At the end, like it's a weird thing, isn't it? When you release something, or at least when you write something, and like first and foremost, you're writing stuff for you. But when you put it out there and you kind of it's no longer yours.
Yeah,
In
man.
2 weeks' time, this record belongs to everyone. It's no longer my thing, and it's that. It's terrifying because you're still quite protective over it and you're still very vulnerable. But at the end of the day, when you do put it out, you hope that like someone engages with it and has a response,
Yeah.
or connects to it on some way. And so like that's the ultimate goal. So thank you so much.
Yeah, man, don't worry about it. Yeah, once it's out, it's gone. It's gone.
Yeah.
It's no longer yours. It's for everyone and from everyone. And even it may be the case that where the perspective of another person can alter your own perspective of your own work.
Yeah, yeah. That's the amazing thing about art. Everything is subjective. So
Yeah,
there's never a right or wrong, and there's never like this one linear thing. It kind of with everyone that engages with it and everyone that has an opinion, it's going to be something different, or they'll take little different things. And I love that about arts and music and culture is you can put the questions out there and leave it to other people, and you don't need to hammer like this definite thing. It can be
mhm.
ambiguous is the word, and I think ambiguity is a beautiful thing
Yeah, yeah, it definitely can be an asset.
for sure.
Yeah, man, thanks for that. And the next question I got for you is this one. What is your favorite heavy music band or act, and what is your favorite pop act at the moment? And what do those two have in common for you?
Um, Favorite, okay. I guess like growing up, it was probably always like Nine Inch Nails and like White Zombie and stuff like this. But yeah, I would probably say Nine Inch Nails still hold the bar of probably my favorite heavy band. But like currently there's a band called Oranzi Pazuzu that I'm absolutely
Oh, oh,
obsessed with.
yeah,
I
man, they are great. Great.
Yeah, I've seen these guys live a few times over the last few years, and like the last three records are like some of the best music that's come out in the last 10 years. Um, they are insane, and I love them because they aren't afraid to experiment. Like they're psychedelic black metal, whatever that is. Um,
Exactly.
and it works so well. It's like all these elements of post metal and whatever. Like you could even say there's some weird, obnoxious industrial elements to it too, but it's
Definitely.
they're not afraid of experimenting, and I love that about that band that draws me into them. They're every song sounds like a complete different band almost,
Yeah,
but they have a consistency, but they're not afraid to deviate from it, and I love that about them. And it's really abrasive. It's really like you really have to stick with it, and the payoffs are just so good. Like let's move Nine Inch Nails from it and just say Orenzi Pazuzu because
great.
I feel like
Good
this band
choice.
are my like obsessive heavy band. Um, Pop band.
Pop or act.
Pop act. I mean, it's all like iconically, it's always going to be Lady Gaga, I think.
Oh,
Yeah, I think I don't think I was ever really when Gaga first came on the scene, I don't think I was massively interested, I guess. I was but as I guess I kind of developed as a musician and started playing more music, like more serious anyway. I think she released this record, Art Pop, that came out in maybe 2015 or something like this.
oh,
And I don't think commercially it was a very successful album. I think it was probably her least successful album. Um, but it was the first time I had tuned into Gaga that was this I guess it was commercial mainstream pop music that if you took Lady Gaga off the record, it was just this really aggressive, obnoxious, like EDM, techno, hard-hitting, heavy
really?
record. And that blew my mind. Like, I mean, Gaga as an icon, as her what she stands for, as a musician, as a singer, everything is 10 out of 10. She's amazing, flawless. But for this record in particular, I was amazed at um how daring she was to try and like make this album that was like really pushing contemporary mainstream pop music. And obviously, in hindsight, I think it was ahead of its time because it wasn't very successful. But for me, um, it was an eye opener into how experimental and how far you could push this notion of pop music.
Yeah,
Um, to extreme. And there's obviously a lot more bands now like Poppy and stuff like that that really
yeah,
kind of poking in and tapping into that. But Gaga, I would say, was in terms of like pop music, was like listening to that album was probably the incubator to like TAYNE and what we tried to do in terms of like pushing the limits on pop music or like labeling it pop music.
yeah, of course. Yeah, man, that's interesting to hear. I will definitely listen to that album because I have heard some of her work. Not a big fan,
Yeah.
but definitely I will try to listen to that album with that approach and let's see what comes out
Yeah,
for
yeah.
me.
It's just really aggressive. It's ridiculous. I think there was a song on it with R. Kelly that obviously got erased from history, but rightly so, I think.
Great, man. Really great to hear. Great answer. Thanks for that, man. And the last question I got for you is this one. So, what did your parents wanted you to dedicate your life to when you were a kid? Did you get encouraged or pressed to go in the right direction of some specific career?
Um, so I guess growing up, I was like the fourth of, four kids, the youngest of four, I guess. Um, I felt like like growing up, we were kind of pretty poor and like grew up on a council estate and kind of when my dad kind of mom and dad separated, my mom raised us, and I guess we were like anything that we had an interest in or that we kind of spent time in, my mom was pretty good with us doing it as long as it wasn't smoking crack or something like that. but relatively supportive in general. And I think for me, art was always um, the thing that I felt I was good at, or at least, helped my attention. And so, um, I think from an early on stage, like being a kid, my mom was always super supportive of me making art, and so I kind of ended up going to art college and studying fine art and doing painting and all of this stuff. And playing music was like another element to that, of like an output of creativity that she was super supportive about. And I think, yeah, they were happy that I was doing something that I enjoyed doing, and that was like a creative output. And so I think they generally were always just like, yeah, if that's what you're into, do it. And I'm a tattoo artist now. It's my livelihood. And I've had I still have an active career in tattooing for over like the last decade, and they were again like super supportive in all of that, and just being like, yeah, if it, if that's something that you enjoy doing, and you make money from it, and
Yeah.
it's yeah, they were all super supportive. So yeah, it was they were always like pro me pushing anything that was like a creative output, I think.
Yeah, lucky guy, man. Lucky guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't think I was very book smart, so I think they were pretty aware of that too.
Different kind of books.
Yeah. Picture books,
Exactly.
coloring books.
Yeah, definitely sometimes spooky, creepy books for your parents or your friends. Like, what are
Right?
you watching? Who is this guy Geiger, man?
Yeah.
That is
Oh
weird
man.
guy.
Yeah, but I think I think I remember like on that first book that I remember like art book getting was like Vincent van Gogh, and just being like, this shit's crazy.
Oh,
Um and yeah, but yeah, like Geiger and all of this stuff, yeah, it all came much later, but all super relevant, you know.
yeah, of course, man. Well, Matt, those are all of the questions I got for you. Thanks a lot for your honest question and for being so fun to talk to. And as we were speaking before we started the interview, please help me now to formulate a question for my next guest here in the channel. As I told you before, I don't know yet who we're gonna be, but it can be anything you like to. You just heard the question that the guys from Miracle Blood asked, so now you have like kind of a context of so what do you want to ask for the next guest.
Do you want me to keep it PG, or do you want me should I keep
Now,
it PG or go ham?
whatever you like works for me, man. I mean,
Say
the thing
again?
is that
I
to
think I
make
lost
the
you.
yeah, anything you want work for me. The thing is to keep things fun for everyone.
Okay. I think I'll ask you the question that's poking in my head.
Of course.
If you were to shit your pants at work, would you stay and work, or would you go home?
Very interesting question. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it will
You,
be
you want a
mind-opening
side one
question.
just in case you don't want to ask them that?
I will use that, but I can do both.
Is that okay?
Yeah, of course.
The PG one is, what's your favorite wine? Let's just go with that.
Okay.
Would you choose a Pinot Noir or Rioja?
Okay. Well,
How about
I
that?
will ask both. I will ask both. Great, man. Uh, Matt, again, thanks a lot for your time, for being such a cool guy. Congratulations
A
again for the
pleasure, man.
record.
Thank you so much for having
And
me.
let me say goodbye to our the haters here. Haters. Esto es todo lo que tenemos en nuestra entrevista con Matt Sutton, el vocalista y bajista y líder de la banda TAYNE. No se olviden, el 31 de enero sale a la venta el primer álbum aquí que lleva por título Love a través de MNRK Music Inside Job. Es un gran álbum, se lo recomiendo muchísimo. Matt,
Personagens, flaws and failures.